for joining me, Jan Harp, on whichever social media platform you are watching this. And today, in celebration of Black History Month, I am doing a spotlight on Black businesses. And I would like to take a moment and introduce you. Some of you may already know him, and some of you, this may be your first time. But I would like to introduce you to Mr. David. David,
Hey everybody, what's going on? David Wiley Long here.
And David is the owner of Real Love Tennis. I'm always wanting to say pure or romance, but it's Real Love Tennis. And he has started this business in Tennessee. So he is a Tennessee resident. He's repping Tennessee today. You repping Tennessee?
I am representing the capital city of Tennessee, Nashville.
No, you're not. You told me you want to represent
stand
Tennessee.
Up.
That was your moment to get you not representing Tennessee.
I live currently in Nashville, Tennessee, but yes, I will. I know. I'm always going to call home. East Orange, New Jersey, 973 Munn Avenue, all day, baby. 81 North Maple, all that good stuff. The oranges, I miss you. Essex County for life. Don't forget it.
That's right. We won't forget it now. So everyone, I just want you to understand that David, he is a multi-stream income earner. He is not playing about business, and Real Love Tennis is just a start, and you're going to enjoy what he has to say about his climb and his current ventures and what is to come. Hello, David, and thank you once again for joining me. I know that you're in the midst of traveling, so I appreciate you taking this time out of your schedule to come and chat with my viewers.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I have known you for over 2 decades, so of course I'm going to take out some time for the great Jan Harper. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So tell everyone just a little bit about what it is. Not a little bit. No, tell them everything. Tell them all about what it is that you do, what goes into creating Real Love Tennis.
Well, Real Love Tennis is, when I was doing research for the show, I didn't realize Real Love Tennis is my 5th business. I have really been fortunate enough to have businesses. Now, when someone hears that, they may think, well, 4 failed businesses. No, I just have grew to different levels and just really engagement. In my previous businesses, they were in different cities. But I was fortunate enough to bring Real Love Tennis to fruition because I just started loving tennis. I was looking for something recreational to do, something that I wanted to grow with as I got older and did. And something that challenged me, and tennis is all of that and more. I've always loved a good challenge. I think my life has always been summed up by challenges. I've been fortunate enough to live in 7 states, and all of them were because I like to see new things, new adventures, and just try new things. So I saw there was a need in a niche for people that look like me to play tennis and provide tennis, but also gaming and programming. And Real Love Tennis slogan sums it up. It literally just says your tennis everything. So I have a kids program. I have monthly mixers. I have a tournament every fall. I have monthly events. I captain teams. I do a mixture of everything. And that is, I really want your viewers to understand business is a constant evolving thing. So even as great as Twitter, Facebook, Pepsi, they're constantly trying to find creative ways to not necessarily generate money, but make new money. Because we all have our go-to. We go to a certain store, we like a certain soda or pop in the Midwest, as I called it growing up. But what's the new pop? What's the new soda? What's new? So don't think that the big businesses have it all together. They're constantly having marketing executive, and sometimes they have failures as well. And I think one of the most important things I learned in business is you can learn so much from a failure. Because obviously you learned something that wasn't good, Now you're going to tweak it to make it better. So I think the strongest business person has successes and failures. And the wise business persons know how to adapt with both successes and failures.
Exactly, exactly. I saw I think it was an interview with Ice Cube and Boyce Watkins, but I know it was definitely Ice Cube because these were his words, and he was being congratulated on being such a wise businessman and having so many successful things happen to not only himself but the people who were part of his endeavors, and he was like, yeah, because those are the ones you see. It's like, in other words, like, no, there's a whole bunch of, things that I really wanted to do. I really wanted it to succeed and it didn't. It's just, you don't know about those because that's not what made it to the media. That's not what made it to the forefront. So I completely get what you're saying. I'm hoping that definitely the viewers get what you're saying too. Like, failure is not the end all. It's actually part of the process.
The journey, right. Because I don't know if people remember, I remember because I won a contest. But Coca-Cola came out with a great, like a rivalry to Mountain Dew called Surge.
Mm-hmm.
And Surge was this big old thing. It was really just trying a new niche and what have you. And like I said, I was in college at the time, and they were having these contests where they would come to college campuses, and they had these huge cans, and you have to guess how many was in this thing. Well, I guessed, and I literally won 300 cans of Surge. And I remember going across campus with it because where I wanted at was completely on the opposite side of campus. So I'm running and I'm literally handing out the Surges I go because I couldn't carry all these Surges. And I was thinking to myself, like, this is what they wanted to do. So the lesson that you learn is sometimes the lesson is when you stop and really be like, I can do something with that. I can make something happen. The lesson doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be good. I'm in the process of year 7 with the business, and I'm really kind of scaling up, but also I'm like, what is working and how can I amplify that? And I think too many times we don't look at what we have or what have you, and really nurturing that garden to grow. Obviously, we want success, we want riches, but sometimes we look at it in a very small pigeonhole world. So in order to grow, you really got to expand and say, what is everything that I have at my disposal? What is everything that I could do? And you really got to step out your comfort zone in order to grow and what have you. Your business may not be in this place where you're at. Like I said, I alluded to earlier, I had 3 businesses in New Jersey. I had 1 business in Detroit, and now I have a business in New York, in Nashville. Each one of them were a success in their own right, but they were for that time or place or what have you. So don't think one great idea may get you to this promised land. It may get you a step further, but just have that realistic opportunity of saying, hey, I have this great thing, but I can't do it here. Okay, well, find a place you can do it and grow it from there.
Exactly. And when you were talking about like this pigeonhole idea on wealth, first of all, my father's Caribbean. And so it's really important that we know that because they have this idea or work ethic that exceeds human capacity for what's real. So, that's all that, is in his mind is, you're going to work to the full capacity to, get the maximum return on investment. That's his thing. But he told me one time, like, in my adult life, this is, past the motivating you as a child. This is adult life. And he's saying to me, no, now that you have the work ethic, now that it's ingrained in your head, okay, chase after this. Let me balance it for you. And what he said is that, no, you might get a lot of money, right? And it will allow you to get a really nice house or a really nice car. But remember, the really nice house that you have is doing the same thing that the, maybe shabby, so to say, house that the poor person lives in. It does the same thing. You're able to sleep there and not get wet. You're able to cook, take a shower. Your car, yours costs, $100,000. His may cost $30,000. Somebody might have got it for $5,000. But if it gets you from point A to point B, what difference does it really make in the big picture? So that's the thing. It's like, we have to, everybody can't be Beyonce. That's something I always put on my page. Why do you want to be? Like, she can't even go and jog in the park, without being harassed. So like, you have to really get an idea in your head, like, what do I actually want? And then make it realistic. If you're always aiming to be Beyonce and there's only really room for 1% up there, then you spend your whole life being upset and disappointed about, what you do have, which is actually something like you said. If you take what you do have, you could build on it and you could live very comfortably. Because I've lived vicariously through you for years. So just to give them a little taste, we're not bragging, but just give them a little taste in a year. Tell them some of the places that you'll ride the plane to in a year.
Travel is one of those things to me.
Mm-hmm.
If you have it, do it. Now, obviously, I'm fortunate. I don't have any children. I'm divorced, but I don't have any children, so I can just get up and go. But even if you have a family, budgeting, planning, and all of that goes hand in hand. But I think travel is one of those things that you should always put in your budget, because sometimes you literally, as the kids say, or the millennials say nowadays, life be life. And I think in order to really absorb, because a lot of stuff is heavy, we are dealing with heavy subjects daily. Food fatality, earthquakes, COVID. I mean, it's literally one thing after another, after another, after another. And for me, travel is that mechanism that gets me out of that headspace and gets me in knowing that there's more to life. So I'm always really intentional about my travel. Last year, 2022, I was fortunate enough to, I went to Guatemala for the first time. I went to Seychelles. Seychelles is in the middle. It's like I call it the Africa Hawaii, because it was 4 hours from Somalia. So imagine this country literally in the middle of the ocean. It was amazing. Costa Rica, I did a cruise. A lot of them start to blend together. I'm not gonna lie, because I do a lot of work and a lot of personal travel, and sometimes they overlap. But the key thing is get out and explore. And the most important thing is, yes, it costs money. I'm not here saying it does not cost money. But I also think in that same breath, you can go to Wichita, Kansas and have a great time. You can literally go to Wichita, Kansas and have an amazing time because you've never seen it. Now, no disrespect to the people watching from Wichita, Kansas. Like, where am I supposed to go? Go to Topeka, go to, Des Moines, Iowa. But really just go 3 to 5 hours away from you in a direction you've never been. You will be amazed what you will see, what you will learn, and how that will open your eyes. And it's so possible. And that right there is not expensive. The more time you spend, of course, because now a hotel has come in, gas and what have you. But it's worth all of that because life is such an adventure. And many times, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a social worker. And although many of the people that I serve are dealing with drug addiction, a myriad of illnesses, just life in general, the main thing I really try to say is, have you tried to see another place of this world that we call Earth? Because just imagine you're stuck in a place like, where do I go? Where do I go? And don't know where to go. So sometimes I really just try to say, go north, go south, go somewhere. Really just expand, because sometimes it's literally just the area that you are in that is providing this rut, and getting out of that means that you got to leave that and what have you.
Exactly. It's something I'm going to always be so grateful for, that my father, he worked with the travel industry. So ever since I was little, I always traveled. And so it didn't really dawn on me at the time. At the time, I actually felt bad about it because I would come back to school, I would have a tan, and the kids, they didn't travel. So they would make fun of me. They would, call me all kinds of names because I was just light and now I'm dark. So, I was like the butt of every joke. And then, you get older and you realize that, oh, shoot, like, that's like what all the grown-ups are aiming to do. That's what everyone who, has a mind outside of their circumference, that's what the aim is to see something different, go somewhere different. So, I'm very grateful to God that my father was able to give me that, because I think that really shaped who I am today. Just knowing something different, than what I was seeing every day. Actually, I'm going to shift. So this was not one of the questions, right? But being that you have seen as much as you've seen, right? And this is Black History Month. And one of the things that I'm talking about is unlearning the things that you've learned on the plantation. And one of the main things that I see is an issue is perspective, right? So like even in our community today, like you're talking about tennis. If it wasn't for, Serena and Venus, maybe tennis would, we'd be like, tennis, what? So like how did you overcome, those perspective things, like, what are you trying to teach tennis for? All those little things that come along, like, who are you to start a romance business? All of these things, like, how did you shape your perspective to embrace that?
I wrote about it. I wrote about it. I wrote about it. I wrote about it. Jan, one of the things that I have learned in my life is I cannot please everybody. I'm working very hard daily to please David Wally Long. And it's a chore. It is a chore pleasing myself, only because we're the hardest on ourselves. So the critics out there, what have you, I'm very good at drowning that out, because trying to satisfy the masses, you would go crazy. And I'm little. Can you imagine, like you said, Beyonce and the next level where, 10,000 fans and a soundbite or what have you? Could you imagine just if, she said something critical of her fan base or something? So I'm very small on the totem pole and having fans and critics and all that. But I say that by just writing. I journal. I see a therapist. I take care of myself, but I also put things in perspective. And then the last and most important thing is the dawn of a new day is always exciting to me, because it's a day I've never seen. It's a day I never had. And as you know, we share this in common. I love still doing kid stuff. Kid stuff is probably the best fun stuff. You get me at a amusement park, I am probably that. It is literally top 3 happy places in the world. Number 1 is the library. The library is such a magical place to me because I just love learning. A music venue is number 2. I love music. Music is just fuel. It's just, oh my God, it's just something that does. And number 3 is that spot where I am literally at an amusement park. It's fun. The funnel cakes, the big ears, the lines, being outdoors, the thrills. Oh, sign me up, sign me up. That is something that those 3 things I hope that I never get tired of. And I never, even as I get older, I never stop enjoying.
I know that's right. And it's just, I think what I get from you is, you've had so many adventures, and it's just made you this, I can face the world. Like if I could see this place and see how they do it there, and, know that these people had less and these people might have more, but everybody has made a way, and you get to see that, with your own eyes. I think that does, make a difference on people's perspective. Like I think that if I would not have had the parents that I had, like my mother, she never accomplished what she set out to do, right? The last thing that she said to my clients, she had came by the house during one of our groups, and it was what you just was talking about, which is that she said, every day is a new day. She was like, it doesn't matter what you did yesterday. She was like, you can choose, to start over again today. And not long after that, she passed. And so with her, like even before she, got caught up in the alcohol, her mindset was always, I'm gonna figure out how to do a business. I'm gonna figure out, how to have enough savings in order to get a down payment. Like she was always just driven. And so when the hurdles came, it was like, okay, I'm watching her, go through this situation, but she's still trying her best to get there. Same thing with my dad. Like he's Caribbean minded man. He's like work, 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 figure it out. And if I didn't have that example of, no, you're going to figure it out. Like, I don't care what I'm going through. The goal didn't change. The mindset didn't change. Figure it out. Then I don't think that I would be where I am today. It's just you have to have something to influence your perspective so that you can even maintain the desire to want something different. And I think that was the biggest issue, like with slavery, was that the perspective was so narrow. It was literally what's happening in front of me and maybe one plantation away from me. And so when your perspective is so narrow, it's hard for you to have a desire for anything, even freedom. And I think that is so relevant today. Like if we don't allow, people like yourself, to encourage us to understand that it's bigger, it's better, it's broader out there, then we are making our own perspective narrow. We're doing it to ourselves. But so tell me a little bit about what is ahead. So we talked a little bit about what you've done, and I'm encouraging people to go out there and find out more about David Wiley Long. I want you to tell them what you have coming up and let them know, like, how can they get in touch with you? Even though I have a hard time getting in touch with you, so I'm going to take the same advice. Okay, how can they get in touch with you?
I answer eventually. I mean, sometimes, to be completely blunt, I just don't have my phone. You will be amazed what you can get done by not having your phone. And sometimes I'll keep my phone in the car. Sometimes I just need, because I feel like you got to remember, in order to do stuff, you got to do stuff. And the hardest part of any business, and that's why I personally think a lot of businesses don't maximize their potential, not fail, but not maximize their potential, is they don't like the small stuff. And the small stuff is the tedious details of, really doing the grunt work, really researching, really finding what's out there, really just seeing, okay, what worked for a previous business that I could use in mine. Because keep in mind, Pepsi watching Coke while Coke watching Pepsi. You got to. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sherry Shepherd is watching Jennifer Hudson, vice versa. Competition breeds growth, because you can elevate by seeing what's out there. But what's next for me is I am trying to make this book, like I mentioned earlier, a movie. I really, really am working hard and fast to make that happen. As Jen said, I love a challenge. Each challenge that I've done gets greater and greater. I've challenged myself to 9 marathons. I've challenged myself to 6 game shows. I really, really do them. And although as big and bold as they are, I'm like, can I do it? And then I just get to work. So this movie idea, I think is doable. And I'm working hard. But you can find out more about that and the book through davidwileylong.com. So that is DAVIDWYLEY long, LONG.com. That is where you can find the book. You can email me there at Gmail as well. Learn more about the tennis business and everything that I am trying to do. And then the tennis, what I'm doing for tennis is, this is my 7th year of operation. So it's not like a anniversary year, but this is my 3rd year. We'll be doing my 8th tournament. And the tournaments I'm learning as I'm growing, they're getting bigger and better. Last October, I welcomed 107 people from 12 different states doing 15 categories. And it was just amazing, right in Nashville, Tennessee. So I'm trying to grow that. I'm trying to make sure that people know that tennis is fun. I'm trying to welcome it into people that haven't played, that picked up a racket. It's not that difficult, but I really want, if you're looking for something fun to do, low level, you only really need is a racket and some balls, And most of the time the courts are free, you know. It's very socially distanced. I mean, I don't know how much social distance you get, so it's COVID friendly, and it's fun across the board. It's a good workout. It's not too strenuous, and it's a good time. So that is reallovetennis.com. Check me out. Learn more about what I do. But if you're looking to start a business, grow a business, or really just how can I even think about the business? Hit me up. I am always trying to build people up, just like Jan Harper is, because that is the secret sauce. When we all collectively work together in tandem, we all win. You know, like that's so cool. We all can be Beyonce. And trust and believe, Beyonce is trying to be someone greater. You know, I think the perfectionist and the Virgo in her, and we share we're a day apart in our birthday, but we're always thinking of bigger, bolder, better, and what have you. So if you're trying to get to something that's trying to get better than she is, let's bring it down just a tad. And where can you make your own sauce and what have you? Because you have everything that you need. You just got to really do the hard work to make it grow.
Exactly. As always, motivated me. I greatly appreciate it. I greatly appreciate your time. And I just want to put a little pin in the hat for the people who are watching. David and I'm not going to say how long ago it was, because see, he's way, way younger than me, and we're not going to let out none of the relational numbers. We no adding, no subtracting. But my oldest was younger than my youngest is right now. He was like in elementary school still, and he's completely grown right. He's almost 30. And we were at the law firm together, doing our thing, just trying to make our way, still going to amusement parks, just being road dogs and running around. And now today, we're both business owners, and it is a blessing.
And I think that goes back to the circle that you create. The circle that you create, or the business you have. You have every single thing. Just think in your circle now who is fueling you. I have been blessed to know this lady for many years. To see her grow and what have you. I have everyone in my circle. I have everything that I need. But the point I'm trying to make is that every time you need someone, every time you need somebody, in my belief, there's a reason. Everything truly happens for a reason. And 80% of the time, you don't know why. Because there's 330 million people in America. You're going to meet the right people at the right time to make you the best you could be.
Well, you have definitely made me better. And I love you always.
Yes.
And I look forward.
And I will see you real soon.
Yes. I look forward to watching you play. It was fun last year watching you win and beat up on people.
It's literally a month away. 3/11. Today is 2/11, 3/11. So yes.
Awesome. And now you can get out the airport, because he's still in the airport trying to get home. Well, enjoy. And you. Mwah. So how you been promoting your movie?
In July in Atlanta.
I love it.
Yeah, I've been busy. I was hoping to get on Jennifer Hudson. We shall see. I think it's all going to come together like I wanted to. I just, you go through those moments where you're just ready for it to come through like immediately.
Yeah. And not last, not least, but just the next in line, I would love to introduce you to Miss Cherie of Cherie Lashes and Brows.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it is definitely my pleasure. And once again, I want everyone to understand that Cherie Lashes and Brows is just the beginning. She's going to tell you, she's going to go in depth on all of the things that she is involved in. And I would like for you to know that she has been doing this since she was 16 years old. Yes, and the baby face is not fooling you. She is baby in the heart and in the face. There you go. Yes. So